My beautiful Africa, my fellow Africans, we are doing a good job educating the world what Africa, that Africa is not a country, it is a continent, and yes, it is a continent of 54 countries. So the continent that has the highest number of countries. And on top of that, in terms of land, it is the second largest, so it's following Asia. So now, when we educate people, we still say, in Africa, we don't do this, in Africa, this, in Africa. And as much as that is good, also is still creating the stereotype, because some of the things they don't apply in other countries, like my country. I hear a lot of things that honestly they don't apply to my country. So when somebody says, like, in Africa it's warm, it's hot, we don't have snow, we're talking about that. There are people in my country who are freezing, who are snowed in. So Africa is with this many countries, with different culture, with different food, languages, with different geography. So it's impossible to generalize it. And so we need to realize that if you live in Nigeria, you can only talk about Nigeria, probably, because unless if you have traveled, because I lived in my country and I didn't know anything about any other place. I didn't know anything about other countries. I met people in my country from other countries, but I didn't know anything about their country. What helped was coming to United States, where I met people all over the world, like from all over the world, and learning a little bit about people from other countries helps you, because you learn a little bit of their culture, you learn a little bit, but then still that doesn't make me to say I know what happens in Nigeria, for example. I have no idea. My beautiful friends from Nigeria here, they exposed me to some of the cultures, but I cannot pretend I know everything about, because that was a little bit of taste. So yes, we are talking about Africa. Let's remember how big it is, and let's be careful to generalize, because if we are generalizing, still we are still creating a stereotype, which is still incorrect. So that is why we have to be careful. And if I'm talking about my country, if I'm talking about Africa, I have to clarify which country I'm talking about. That's my whole point, is clarify which country you're talking about. Then when you make statements, you talk about it applies to that country. Unless like you have done your research and made sure that you understand, that applies everywhere in Africa, then that's appropriate. But if you didn't do your research and you don't know, don't just throw like statements out and say, in Africa is this and Africa is this, because there is no country called Africa, please. Let's stop. There is no country called Africa. I don't know. I'm yet to see it or learn about it, maybe. So, yeah, let's just be, educative, and also make sure that we are not misleading at the same time.